Yeah, why?
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay, and just to be clear, Mama Cass sings California Dreaming. I'm aware of this. I knew this all along. I broke her already. We're first minute in, and I broke her. Yeah, the things that happen right before the show are fun. It's Monday.
It is Monday morning, everyone. The Grey Cup has come and gone. waiting for a press conference to be scheduled or scheduled if you're across the pond.
They're not. We're in Canada, Alberta. Scheduled. If you want to keep the U's, fine, but let's pronounce Canadian way.
Yeah, but yeah, so Grey Cup's come and gone. Congratulations, Saskatchewan Roughriders. Well done.
Yep.
Pretty convincing.
By the way, one thing that really impressed my wife is I'm a horrible speller, but she watched me spell Saskatchewan correctly one day.
Yeah.
She was shocked.
Couldn't get certain keywords that we use every day. But yeah.
Like and the.
No, you're not that bad. You're not that bad. Oh, I'm still crying, man.
February was a tough one for me, and I'm born in it. Wednesday. Yeah. But no, Saskatchewan, great. I used to live there. We followed them a lot. Reminds me of my sister, God rest her soul, because she was a big fan. And one day I went to visit her, and she gave me a flag, the Rough Riders, signed by a whole bunch of people that were, supportive of us growing up. And she's a sweet little lady, but we lost her.
Yeah, we did. It was unfortunate. So that's why I have a soft spot. So even before I knew you followed them when you were a kid, when I knew that the Rough Riders were in the finals, I was like, oh, I'm going to be cheering for them because I remember your sister.
Yeah, and so they won. Congratulations. Yep. And the Carney Curse from Montreal. Sorry, Montreal. And whenever Carney shows up to sports, somebody loses.
Yeah, he was booed, apparently. I saw when...
according to CTV and CBC, he was cheered.
Yeah,
but if you listen to
it was booed.
They were boos for sure.
There were boos. There was boos. But yeah, so my first... I made some people laugh. It was my first Grey Cup final. It was my first CFL game. But it was cool. So yeah, it was great to get together. We thank you to our very good friend who invited us over. She had a gathering, and yes, there was lots of fantastic conversation had away from the game, and it was a great evening of like 5 hours that we were there. So lots of fantastic food, lots of fantastic company, and thank you very much for having us, hosting us, and we really appreciated it.
Yeah, it was a busy weekend for us, social weekend really for us. So for Martin, our update is I finished the oil change on the Generac. That's done. It's got its first oil change. Everything's good. No more blinking light to remind me. And our backup generator is all good to go now. Wired in, close all the panels, everything's screwed in, and now we can tidy up that shed.
Yes. Oh my goodness, the shed's a state. But no, we got to do all that and our diesel heat. You got to get a couple.
I didn't say the diesel is off the list, but now the shed can be put back together, and we're going to create a shelf of devices that we can put in there, like an ice cream maker and stuff.
Small appliances and the slushy make, But yeah, it needs a good tidy up. So once you're done doing what you need to do, I'll do what I need to do with regards to.
I'm done. I finished. You're good.
You've got the green. You'll do the tools and stuff because you said you were going to tidy up that tool cabinet or shelving unit.
Mama Cass, California Dream. Good song. Yes, and then yes, of course, the diesel heat still has to be done. But Martin, we're pretty close to ready for winter here.
Yeah.
Yep. So it was a very social weekend. So Friday we released we actually went into town on Friday as well too, but we released the Danielle Smith interview. That went well. And we'll get to that in a second. Where are we going to town for Friday? Oh, the hockey game. Yeah.
The Drayton Valley New Force, the 15-year-old team. A good friend of ours and the young man who helps us out a bunch of times. He was playing hockey, and we got to check it out. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, so good stuff in Drayton Valley. If you have a chance to check them out, they're fun games, and I think we'll be doing some more of those. I don't know if we'll travel much, but we'll go to Drayton for them.
Yeah, I'm not traveling to Athabasca and Hinton and all that type of thing, but yeah, Drayton Valley.
So
we'll go check
anybody from watching in those areas, she didn't mean to insult you.
No, I did not. You're just too far. You're just too far.
Yeah, and then Saturday we went into town to hang out with Jim Kerr. He came into Drayton to do a little dinner and then an event, and unfortunately we weren't able to stay because we had the show at 7 p.m. So we were there from 5 to 6:30. Met some good people. Oh, I love how the same people keep showing up.
Good folk for sure. Good folk. But yeah, then you did Source One Saturday night mashup with Nico and Jeff and panel.
And Stockwell Day was there with us. We had David Parker and Lisa Robinson, Councillor Lisa Robinson. So it was a really good one. We'll pull that up in a second as well. Then yesterday was our major social day, so that was a great cup.
Yes.
So May met. Okay, so first of all, did you? Yeah, you said her name.
No, I did not say her
Okay,
name.
well, anyway, she's a really good supporter of the show. She's been around forever. Love her. She's actually been on the show itself, so maybe she's not so secret anymore.
I'll ask her because she'll be in our local chat. I'll ask her.
Invited us over, and we had Dr. Hodgkinson join us. Jim Kerr joined for a little bit, and we met a couple viewers of the show, and now made some new friends. There's some really good people in the crowd and made some new friends.
Yeah, what I liked is that there was a woman that we had met previously, and so I would class her as an acquaintance, and then I can class her as a friend because we had some great conversation, and she's looking forward to. Because I told her, explained how when I call Wilbur the pig for food, when he's free range around, then it's time to put him away and give him his lunch or his dinner. I'm like, dinner. I call him, and he will, wherever he is, you hear the oink.
He's probably losing his mind right now.
You hear the oinks, and then he comes, running full charge. So she says, "Oh, I've got to see that." So I said, "Yeah, I'll record it next time. I'll set it up and I'll call him and then get it recorded and send it to her because it's quite hilarious to see this pig run because he's coming for his food."
And one day he'll be dinner.
Yeah, and one day he will more like breakfast.
Oh, we got to get ham out of him.
Yeah, we'll get a bacon and some nice pork shoulder for a slow cooker or instant pot. Yeah, those are my favorites.
Yeah, Paula doesn't mind. She's going to cook this guy up one day. No, he's got to make a bunch of babies first.
Yeah, give him a bunch of babies, or give us a bunch of babies, and really, look, our job is to give him the best life we can possible, keep him healthy and happy. And then there's going to come a point where, circular life. He's going to end up in the freezer. He's not a pet, so but we'll take good care of him while we have him.
And if CFI is watching, we have one pig.
Well, we do. Yeah. We do.
Don't start coming over here right now. The one pig.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into the news as we got quite a few things over the weekend. Well, who's that guy?
That guy.
Why is he on the screen? We had enough of him already. Donald Best, he was on and he was sharing a bunch of things. We did the Detective Helen Gruce video with him. I think it seems a little bit off. Yeah, he was on Friday. And people are very excited about that movie, documentary.
Yeah.
It's looking like it's going to be the fall of 2026, so in about a year. It should be done and dusted and presented. And there's some chatter about some award potential for it. So some film festivals have reached out. They want to show it. And other people have reached out to me and said, "Hey, I want to be in there." I'm like, well, it's not me making it.
Yeah.
I'll pass your name on. But very impressed with that trailer. And if you haven't seen it, it's my pinned post right now on X, and you can find it on YouTube, Facebook, and Rumble. And check it out because it's 5 minutes of, I would say, not just truth, but this should be changing Canada for the better. It should be exposing the issues that police officers have with being not autonomous, so they can do their own thing and investigate, because that's changing. And Detective Helen Gruce should not have been going through this, but if she has, it may change things for the better. We'll see.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. We'll see.
So thank you to Donna for joining us. The Daniel Smith episode was released. It's done very well on YouTube. YouTube seems to be pleased with these kind of videos.
They're all on board, are they now?
On this, they for sure are. I don't know, maybe they got the call from above and said, let's make sure Alberta separates. So anything they have, let's put it out there. But it was a 30-minute interview. And inside of here, it kind of reinvigorated my concern that she's got a couple more things to do in order to kind of firmly address Carney, because he's not doing any of the things that she's asking for. But there's no surprise. Like, read his book. Seriously, read his book, Values. He would have to go against his book in order to satisfy Danielle on like anything she's asking for. So it's going to be difficult for him to do that. And I'm not supporting him on that difficultiness. He should be doing these things. But read his book. There's no way that this guy is going to work with us. So, but the rest of the stuff that we talked about there was pretty good. She is working hard for Alberta. I get that. But we'll see after the next 2 weeks whether or not she's able to make any headway with Carney. She was very optimistic still at this stage. This was a month ago. And some things have changed a bit. And like you said, we're waiting for some more news. And I believe she's having a press conference today to address this. I know that on Friday she was asked a question by a reporter, but I think she's doing an actual press conference today to address this.
Look forward to it.
And we'll get into a bit, because there's a post above about what her response is currently. So Brittany, who was on last week, so go follow her, check her out. She may do a show soon. She did a post here. She's a classic Christian conservative, and she does not think men are useless. There's a lot of people who think men are useless. We're not have any value. So she listed off a bunch of things that are predominantly male, like the military, 95%, firefighters, 97%, coal miners, 95%, etc. It goes through the list. What I did was I added a few things to that list. Fathers, 100% are men. Husbands, 100% are men. And brothers, 100% are men. You need all of those as well. And that's something that can only be done by men. You know, because you've got, well, you don't have a brother, but you have cousins.
Yeah.
Who's like a brother.
Yes, I do.
But you know the value of a father and a husband?
I certainly do. And I've also, there's an interview from, I don't know, maybe 80s, the 90s involving Cher. And they're like, what do we need men? And she's like, no, of course not. Like, what do we need men for?
Cher says this.
Yeah, Cher says this. I'm like, well, I'm sure she's been very successful in her career when she's gone on tour. And who does she think puts the tour together for her? Who do you think builds the stage for her? All that type of thing. No, men are incredibly useful. There's many, many industries and fields that are predominantly male, as listed by Brittany. And it's just the whole disregard. Well, you can say, well, you're just a baby maker. You're just a cook. That could easily be turned around to women. Of course not. Absolutely ridiculous mentality to have. And so disrespectful to, you don't need a man in your life. Okay. Or you don't want a man in your life. Doesn't necessarily mean you don't need one to be in your life in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, complete disrespect. I'm not a fan of comments like that, because it could easily be turned around towards women and say, all you are is just a baby maker or a cook. Go clean something. So no, thank you.
Yep. And historically, we've been the expendable one. We can go to war, protect you, and you will raise the children and make sure that the home is great and we can have the next generation.
Well, it's not just you can go to war, you do go to war.
Right. And we go hunting, and sometimes we don't come back. So we're expendable, but we're important. So trying to say that we're not necessary is such a silly narrative out there.
Yeah.
And the same people that say that are fine with men being in women's sports. So they're a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
A little bit crazy. Thanks again to Jack, who brought to our attention that the CBC caught the NDP Nenshi spending Canadian dollars in the US for his big image makeover.
Yeah.
Which firm did he choose? The ad agency was Socialist New York Mayor Zohan Mandani's.
Yeah.
What happened to buy Canadian? Elbows up. So when CBC is exposing you, like,
even if they are turning against you, my goodness.
So I did a post about him. Like, is he going to go after the 1% as well? Is he going to offer a bunch of free social stuff that he can't even do? I understand that he's Muslim, because I actually put in that post, is he going to become Muslim? But he is Muslim. So people corrected me on that one. And is this what their playbook is? They're going to keep pushing this socialist message to try and reach the people that want a bunch of free stuff? And is this going to work in Alberta?
Vote buying.
And for those that are listening, like, who is this guy? Well, he's the Alberta NDP leader. And they're starting to get ready for an election. We can have an election any time, but we have one scheduled in 2027. And he's trying to do a makeover for his image and starting to push the same stuff that the New York mayor Zoran Mandani just did. So, and it's already fallen apart for him. The free buses is a no-go.
Yeah, exactly.
Like on the day
a whole bunch of stuff they can't actually do.
He doesn't have the power to do 90% of the things that he's going to do. And he's also scared away a lot of the people with who are part of their tax base. 1% of the people pay 50% of the taxes in New York, and they're looking at Florida and other places now. So the social experiment is going to fall apart, and I do not see Alberta falling for it,
because it does fall apart. This socialism, communism is not successful.
Yeah, and maybe by that time the election rolls around, it's for the new president of Alberta instead of the premier. We'll see where we're at.
Wonderful.
All right, we'll see where we're at. So I had a little fun here. Died suddenly. Fun guys. They came on to did the show a couple times now. So they asked, what's the first word that comes to mind when you see this? And this is the planting of the flag on the moon by a couple U.S. Astronauts. And my response, well, he said one word. So I said Disney.
Yeah, I thought that was very apt. I thought that was like, well done. That was exactly the type of thing I would have thought as well. So yes.
Yeah, as I'm getting older and as I'm learning more things and what they're capable of and why they're capable of it on a grand stage as well, it makes you think, did it? Oh,
Yeah.
man. Like, I was a space nut growing up, like big time. All of it. Gobbled it up. So for me to start thinking, did it? For me is a big step because, I absolutely supported all of this. I have no proof other than the same things everybody else goes through. But the one I didn't like is all the film is gone. Like, oops, we lost it all.
And they lost the knowledge of like the notes and whatnot on how to do it.
It's just unfortunate. But in any case, we live in a world where at least we have a video that looks like it. But anyways, I put Disney because the rumor is this was filmed in the Disney studio in Hollywood, California. But I have no proof of that. I wasn't even born yet. But it looks cool.
Yeah.
All right. So as we move on here, CTV, the propaganda machine of the federal government, is working like crazy. Same people that said he was cheered when he was booed in Winnipeg. They're now trying to say oil and gas producers applaud Ottawa's latest major projects list. Do they? If you read the article, there's a couple parts of it, especially LNG in BC. They're pleased because they're starting to move ahead. But some of the things about this is frustrating to a lot of people. All of these projects, except for maybe the rail line one, were already on the books to try to get done. It was the Liberals who slowed it down and made it difficult. And now it's the Liberals who are going to kind of move it along. And none of these are going to happen overnight.
Correct.
But they're trying to applaud the list. So I had to call them out a bit here. While CTV is gaslighting Alberta, if you're in Alberta and you read this, you're going to think things are good because oil and gas is our lifeblood. But let me correct the record here. First, none of the projects were new. They were all existing projects at various stages of approvals previously. And by the way, CTV is being community noted because that's the facts. They're not new stuff. Second, none of the projects are in Alberta. So check out this map, folks.
Yeah.
If you're watching this. There's basically every province has got something.
Yeah, and look at us.
But Alberta's got nothing on that list. And no surprise. And third, these projects leave a vast majority of oil and gas in the ground. So the BC side is where there's some LNG movement. There's some hydro in other places, but for the oil and gas would be BC. And there's a really interesting relationship with Ottawa and BC developing where they're trying to shift BC into being the lifeblood of Canada when it comes to stuff like LNG. Maybe they're prepping for the Alberta leaving. Maybe,
and so they can't include us in their projects.
Not so much include us in the projects, but they're really propping up BC. So that relationship with the BC NDPs is strong, and they're pushing things hard, and let them. It won't be our problem. Dr. David Speicher is joining us today. I want to double check my messages and make sure he's confirmed, but he's joining us today, and he was on an Australian show talking about his discoveries and his work. And we can say this on YouTube now, which is kind of cool. So Dr. David Speicher made a bombshell announcement that there is DNA inside Pfizer vaccines. It's well and truly tested and true. Even the Canadian government recognizes that and kind of questioned Pfizer, said, hey, what's going on here? They said it's not a problem. So the Canadian government said, okay, cool. But a lot of people don't agree with that. This is not supposed to be in there. And the side effects and what it causes to the body is something we'll jump into with David a bit.
Yeah.
He's coming on for his reports as a biologist about the Universal Ostrich Farm case and talk some more science with us.
Yep.
Yeah. We don't have to get into the loss of the farm and stuff like that. That's big, and we'll get into that more in the future. But he's bringing some more of the science to the table. But here's where I'm kind of asking Danielle Smith or providing her with some guidance on what to do with Carney, because the little cartoon I made here is remove 9 bad laws or else. He says, hey, let's role play. You be her.
Okay. Remove 9 bad laws, or else.
No.
Build a pipeline, or else. You have 2 weeks. You have 2 more weeks, or else.
Well, we'll see. So the deadline has been moved to the end of this month, which coincides with the end of the AGM. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Highly suspect nothing's coming out of him. Read his book. He's already answered these questions. And he was asked, I think it was Friday, by a reporter. So are you going to kind of work with Danielle on this? And he started laughing.
Yeah.
So
that's what he thinks of you.
Maybe he saw my comic. LOL. Because he's still laughing at us. It's pathetic. But let's go ahead and break this down for you, though. So I said, I'm sorry, but shifting the goalposts yet again doesn't scream strength. It's just one more evasion. And I know there's a lot of people, especially people that have been on the show, that are not happy when we hold Danielle Smith accountable. They quite literally want us to leave her alone because she's done some good things. And I'm not taking away some of the good things. I am not a believer in turning somebody into a savior or an idol, especially politicians. I think the best thing you can do is be a constructive critic and help them maybe understand things from a different perspective in order for them to be stronger. Moving these or else's or not having a clear or else is not helpful to the conversation. And I'm not attempting to bring her down, but there's certainly some people who see it that way and have been posting about that. So to my friends who have done that and kind of putting the blame on the separatist side of things, let's just keep an open mind. Sometimes people can do good things, but let's not idolize or turn them into a savior where they can do no wrong, because of course they can do wrong. They're humans. And I don't think she's horrible person in any way, shape, or form. I think some things she's strong, and on other things she's not strong enough. And if we had strong across the board, I think we all would be happy.
For sure.
Even these people who are posting that would be happier. And probably idolize her even more. But on this particular issue of dealing with Carney, I think some more work needs to be done. So I continue here. Danielle Smith, it's time to define or else once and for all. I know you've been saying this.
Yep.
It's been implied, but not said. This is what you want to hear.
Yeah, right? I want to hear the or else, because again, exactly implied.
Yeah. What will Mark Carney understand? Revoke Section 2.4 of the Citizens Initiative Act, which states an initiating petition proposal must not contravene Sections 1 to 35.1 of the Constitution Act 1982. If you've been watching the show for a bit, Bruce Party brought this to the attention of many. This actually may stop, it's not confirmed, but it may stop a secession petition in Alberta from even happening. Forget Ottawa. This is Edmonton doing this. So I continue here. As this blocks initiatives that could challenge constitutional norms, like a referendum on Alberta's independence. The Federal Clarity Act already provides the necessary framework for secession, outlining a clear process for referendums and negotiations, making 2.4 an unnecessary self-imposed roadblock that stifles Alberta's direct democratic vote. So part of Bill 54, which lowered the threshold for petition signatures and some other things like no electronic voting machines, etc., also added this at the last minute, this section 2.4, which made it's not clear, this is why it's in front of the court, but may have caused a roadblock for independence, because anything that changes and contravenes, which means is in opposition of the Constitution and the Charter, Section 1 through 35.1, which is the entire Charter, cannot be allowed. I don't think that should have ever been in there.
Yeah.
Why can something not be allowed? Let the people decide, and then we'll see where we can go when the Clarity Act kicks in. But this was a self-imposed roadblock that I think needs to be removed.
And I think it would be a very good indicator to give the power to the people to do that.
Right. So Danielle doesn't have to come out and say, hey, I'm for separation. But if she revokes this, and she can do this basically with a quick motion in the legislature. She's already got the votes to get this done. But that would be a good signal to Carney that she is not going to stand in the way of what the people are looking for. And remove any barriers that are in the way.
And I think that would go a long way for people like myself to have a little bit more confidence in her as well.
Yep. So it'd be quite the signal. So Simple suggestion. You can have this done pretty quick, and you would also satisfy a good chunk of your base because the people that understand this are not pleased.
Yeah, because then here's the thing: the referendum could still fail, but now you completely says, "Look, we are now completely hands off. It has been in the power of the people to have their say."
Yeah, just get out of the way. And she came and did a public press conference with Mickey Amory, who Mickey's one to put it in there, and said the court should allow the question, but those two people could also allow the question by removing that
exactly.
clause.
And they knew full well at the time.
Yeah, the court thing would end because there'd be no need for it anymore, and the Clarity Act would be kicking in after the referendum happens. All right, so we'll be covering the vote for the budget today. I think it's going to be about 4 or 4:30 Eastern, so 2 or 2:30 our time.
Okay.
So we'll do coverage of the vote for the budget. We'll see where this goes. We may be entering an election at the end of today. We'll see. We have some great guests lined up. The Taxpayer Association joining us, 2 of the people there. We're going to actually break this down in detail. But I did post, because Brittany, she's on my timeline now, so her stuff pops up. Wow, the Parliamentary Budget Office caught Mark Carney trying to hide $94 billion in spending so he could pretend his budget was balanced. Another day, another Liberal scandal. So we were calling this out live when they were announcing this on the 4th. So Nadine Wellwood, she was on, and she's like, look, they keep calling this stuff investments. When that's spending. That's spending. That's not investments. Investments, you're expecting a return. This is capital spending that he's calling investments. So, yeah, he's been called out, and he's been called out by the Parliamentary Budget Office, which is the same person they're now trying to replace because they weren't happy with what he had to say. So they wanted somebody that's more discreet and tactful. In other words, just say positive stuff and don't tell the truth.
Just like the CPC do.
Yeah, so we'll see where that goes. So I posted here because there's more. But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. That's right.
In addition to hiding spending as investments, which we were catching him real time on that one, Carney also listed the Canadian pension plan as an asset of Canada. It's not. It's owned by Canadians, not Canada. Cover Up Carney is doing what global bankers do best. They cook the books, pull fast ones, and try to hide all debt. So to be clear, the CPC, Canadian Pension Plan, has always been mentioned in budgets, but it's been a liability. It's something that Canada has to pay. It's Canadians who put their money in. They're supposed to get a return on it. That's an investment, a pension plan is supposed to be. And the money is owned by Canadians, not Canada. And there's a very big distinction. But there's a lot of boomers and elbows up people that were posting on this said, oh, no, it's always been that way. No, it hasn't.
No.
It's been listed as a liability in the past. This is when he switched over to an asset. And he got caught. Okay, so there's a little bit more background on this. Threw it into Grok. Did Mark Carney list the Canada Pension Plan as an asset in his first budget? The answer is yes. In the 2025 federal budget presented by Prime Minister Mark Carney, the Canadian Pension Plan's assets are included as part of the fiscal asset subtracted from total debt when calculating Canada's net debt to GDP ratio, which the government highlights as 13.3%, the lowest in the G7. Yeah, good for you. This, and by the way, it's artificial because he shouldn't have done this. So maybe we are not the lowest in the G7. This practice has been criticized as misleading by economists and organizations like the Fraser Institute and the Parliamentary Budget Officer. There's that person again. This person's job is to review this and tell the truth. Who note the CPC assets cannot be used to repay federal debt without impacting pension benefits. And the PDO excludes CPP from its own assets of federal assets. Lots of terms in there, or its own assessments of federal assets. So basically, if you have a mortgage, and let's say you own 20% and the 80% is owned by the bank, and you'll say your house is worth $1 million, the equivalent to this would be to take that mortgaged amount and throw it in as an asset that you can borrow against. No, you owe it. It's a liability. It's not yours yet. You didn't pay for it. So you can't use liability as assets when you're trying to reduce your debt. Can you imagine all of us able to do that? We can lower our credit card debt by claiming the unpaid portion of our mortgage as an asset. Boy, a lot of you will be quite wealthy out there. But that's basically what he's done here. So we'll get into that again this afternoon. But he's a banker. He's not an economist. People keep mixing those two up. They play with finances, so they kind of think, oh, well, if you play with finances, you're the same thing. But just because someone's a stewardess doesn't mean she can fly the plane because they work in aviation. Everybody has their strengths, and economists and bankers are not the same thing. Bankers work with debt, and they work with the banking side of things. Economists think longer term, and they would tell the truth about debt and liabilities and assets. This guy's not.
I want to add a comment here. So yes, Serena, bring CPP to Alberta for Albertans before it's too late.
Yeah, 100%. And by the way, Serena, it might already be too late.
Yeah, like, and then
when I say that, I mean the value of the CPP is like dead.
Yeah,
like they're so Canada is a major liability to Canada because they may have mismanaged that money.
And then yes, Darlene, we're not painting all boomers with the same brush, but yes, the boomer comment. Not all of us are brain dead. We've been stating years ago our government was shady. You know that.
Yeah, relax. This is not the first time she's made that comment when we're having shows. We're not talking about you.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're certainly not. But let's face it. Most of the propping up of the Liberals is that age group. And look, watch this episode here. I'm showing you right now where we had Stockwell Day on, and he agreed as a boomer.
Yes, as a boomer.
He agreed that yes, they are responsible for keeping Carney in because they're already not feeling the pinch and stuff like that. So no, it's not a derogatory comment. So up a bit. You should understand at this stage that we're not attacking boomers. There's classifications. I'm Gen X. We got millennials, and there's boomers as well.
And the alphas are out right now.
Yep. So the budget 2025, can Canada survive? So David Parker, Councillor Lisa Robinson, we had Jeff Evely, myself, Nico, and Stockwell joined at the 5-minute mark. And it was a good conversation, pretty candid and open. A lot of people are not supportive of Pierre. Stockwell is. He does see this. Pierre could be our potential turnaround man. We'll see. There's very little support for that amongst most Canadians. And Stockwell laid out how an election can be won and how he helped ironically, the BC Liberals win in order to make sure that the BC NDPs didn't.
Yeah.
So as a Conservative, they worked hard to make sure the NDP didn't win and put the Liberals in. Slightly better than the alternative.
It was the expression 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Like are they really that different? Yeah.
Okay, so we don't have David here. So what I'm going to get my wife to do is to give him a call because he definitely wanted to come on. Let's see if there's a text here.
And then yes, Colleen, I completely agree. Jason and Paula don't mean the awake boomers, just that
sure. No, it's like a 51% or so. There's a group that you know who they are. The liberal boomers. They're the ones that have a lot of power, and they keep voting them in. So yeah, here
I have him on my phone.
Okay, yeah, give him a call because as you know, you definitely want to come on, but we'll continue.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Switch camera.
It's okay. Yeah, you can just leave. Just leave. All right. So now Sergeant Mike Rood is posted here. Oh, there it is. Reposted Sean Richards' post, which had Trish Wood talking about the legal portion of the CFIA and RCMP, the work that they did in Edgewood, BC for Universal Ostrich Farm. They're highlighting here that they likely violated criminal code, several sections. And, there's a group here that definitely says, let's hold everybody accountable. I agree with that. But in here, Sergeant, he says, this is a must watch. These two sections of criminal code have been what people have been screaming about for weeks and weeks, and proof is right in front of you. Yes, I get it. I totally get it. But my comment here is, this would only be valid if we had rule of law in Canada. We don't. Yeah, we got him here, love. Yeah, this would only be valid if we had rule of law in Canada. We don't. Charges should be laid for the police response in Ottawa, Windsor, and Coutts at the conclusion of Freedom Convoy 2022. They weren't. Sorry, but there will be no accountability for Edgewood either. I'm just highlighting here that in Canada, the RCMP and government agencies are rarely held accountable. We've never even charged a in the modern times, any politician. So Canada does not hold these people accountable. I don't want to throw cold water in your face. It's just truth. So as much as we squawk and scream about, hey, section whatever of the criminal code violated, obviously, so what are they going to do? They're not going to do anything about it. That's rules for thee, but not for me. Okay, that criminal code is for us, plebs, serfs, common folk. It's not for them. They violated it. They violated this stuff all the time.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Right, and if they were going to be held accountable, well, they should be held accountable for some of the actions in Ottawa, Windsor, and Coutts. Some of the things they did there, they haven't been, and I don't think they will be. It's 2025. We're almost done with 2025, and we're not seeing any action there. But because Barbara's truck might be taken away from him this week, so we'll see. And we do have a good friend. He's joining us. So David, just hang on a second. I got a couple more here. So Dean Dumblell and Angie. I'm just going to call her Rumple Foreskin because they teamed up and they're like, yay! They're celebrating the death of the ostriches. And their post was, and this is from Dean's own account, excited to work with Angie and the Human Beings Save America, MVM, whatever that is. Hey, Viva Fry, we're celebrating the call of diseased ostriches. Suck it. They weren't diseased, they were healthy.
Yep.
You can argue that in December 2024, they were exposed to something, and that's why you did it, but why are you calling them diseased? Look at her hand signal. She's mocking an ostrich foot.
Oh, is she?
That's exactly what that is. The three fingers, the three toes of an ostrich. And they're also proud of themselves. So the only thing that came to my mind was, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Luke 23:34. This is what Jesus said as he was put up on the cross. But we're taught to love our enemies. So I love these guys a lot, very, very much, a lot, because these people are pretty evil, and they're enemies to most of us. And it's pretty gross.
Yeah.
And then, of course, go watch the Detective Helen Bruce trailer. It's very good. All right, so we got David here. It's good to see him. He's going to be ready to go. He's joining us from Ontario, and let's bring him up.
Jason, how are you? Oh,
I'm good.
Good morning. Good morning.
We have you.
Morning. How
can you hear us?
I edit my headlines there. There we go.
You good?
Oh, I'm always good if I can type.
That's okay. So we had a couple guests that had audio issues where they couldn't hear us, but I guess you can hear us just fine.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm golden. Then I'm up, and I've got my coffee with Paula Jay. So yeah.
Well, excellent. It's good. Go ahead.
I saw Angela's post, and it was completely evil. And that hand symbol is a satanic hand signal. So
yeah, it certainly looks a lot like the ostrich feet as well. So
it's a Satan thing, and I don't even want to. And it just shows that behind this, you've got experts in the field, which are completely evil, pushing things. And her main post this call is that the Supreme Court moved to call these birds, and that right-wing extremists like us, are not so easily to exterminate. And so if our government is listening to them as experts in the field, if you oppose them, they're gonna come after you.
So when I was trying to reach out to Angela, because I saw what Viva and her were talking about online, I was looking into all sides of this conversation, and she's the predominant one, has been put forward by the CBC as an expert on this subject. And she had a full thread about how this was going to harm the poultry industry. We have no choice. This is an international agreement. Even if we wanted to save them, we can't. And we would lose the $2 billion trade agreements, and et cetera, et cetera. She was going through a whole bunch of stuff like that. So I reached out to you. And I'm like, hey, you're a virologist. Can you connect me to her? Because I'm trying to get her on the show to have a conversation about that. And right away, you're like, oh, there's a little bit of history here. You might want to know, Jay. She's not one of the good ones, and maybe you want to speak to Dr. Pellick, which I ended up contacting him right after that. But do you want to kind of explain a bit more about who she is even before the ostrich stuff?
So she's a virologist, an associate prof at the University of Saskatchewan, and is very much in line with the whole WHO UN One Health thing, and we looked up her past career job things, and she's been put there to basically move an agenda, and it's not about science. If you look at these birds, okay, they're perfectly healthy birds, that they've never been tested at all. If the farm tested them, it's a $250,000 fine and 6 months in jail per bird they test.
That's incredible, and that's insane. Yeah, I keep coming across that one. So there was a moratorium or restriction by the CFIA on the farm that they couldn't test it. Now, Brett Wilson came forward and was like, here's $100,000. Let's do some testing. And of course, that didn't happen. It wasn't able to happen. So even if the funds were available to do the tests, the farm wanted to do the test. People wanted to know the results of the test. $250,000 per and 6 months jail if they did so. Can you expand a little bit more on that? Like, where is that from? That particular fine and imprisonment?
So, I have no idea exactly where it's from. I saw a email to KT signed by CFIA laying it out.
Okay.
And I'm like, this is just
It's the CFIA themselves contacting them, said, you do this and here are the consequences.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be considered possibly a violation of CFIA order or mandate or decree, something along those lines, and then these are the penalties.
and the whole point is that if they as a farm is found to violate CFIA policy, there's no payback, no reimbursement and at all for the farm. And at one point they were offered, I think, $6,000 per bird. Antibody wise, those eggs for viral antibody is about $60,000 per egg.
Wow. So I did contact Dr. Stephen Pellick. He came on for an interview and he opened up my eyes. And I was at that point still taking the position that maybe there's no science. Maybe this is just a farm trying to get into a business of something. And I wasn't really sure what was going on yet. And he opened my eyes to the science part because he actually tested one of the eggs prior to December 2024. He found the antibodies. He found scientific value in it. And and then we had a great interview, great conversation where he provided a lot more of that. Now, you've done a couple posts about the Universal Ostrich Farm before the call. You want to kind of jump into some of those now?
So, my main thing is this whole thing of to test or not to test. And the main point is that avian flu is not a new thing at all. It's occurred for hundreds, if not thousands of years. It's found in ducks and infects all sorts of animals, and that's how it moves between the southern and northern hemispheres. And there's a much greater risk of a wild bird infecting ostriches on the farm than it is for those birds on the farm isolated to infect anything else. And Uson's whole point is that even if those birds are tested and found out to be negative, we can't disprove that those birds are not infected. Well, if they are infectious, you would see it, and it would be very easy to test. Yes, it's a ostrich and difficult to handle, but if you swab those birds and viruses is there, it would pick it up. Now, all of this occurred last year, December 31st, and it was a rush job to test and call those birds sick. Now, it's based on 2 dead birds being tested with a PCR test, and that's okay, except all CFIA looked for is avian influenza, and that's it. They didn't look for other causes of death. And on the farm at one point, there's a certain onus in infection, which can make the birds very sick and or die. Except it's a very narrow push and call to just look for avian influenza, and that's it. And at first, it wasn't even the full sequence. It's just a H5 positive test, and that's it.
Can you also talk about the amplification? Because I think it was like 36 to 40 times amplified the PCR test. And when you do that, can you find like anything when you do that? That's what a lot of people are saying out there.
So I've looked at the PCR reports for these birds, and there's not even a cyclical count been on the report. It just says, and it's a report from reported to date the 31st of December. It says H5 positive, and that's it. And based on just that, CFIA moved to kill off these birds. Now, there's several things wrong with this test, and it's not just a cycle thing. And CFIA and the labs would not reveal any of the testing methods used on these birds at all. We're not given what test, what cycle, what instrument. There's no documented chain of custody, and 2, there's no evidence at all that those swabs tested are even out of a ostrich at all.
Wow.
So in a normal clinical lab, which I've worked in, all of our tests have the infectious pathogen targets. So in this case, avian influenza, and a housekeeping gene such as human, chicken, ostrich, depending on what species is looked at, and it's to ensure we know it's a human sample collected right and will amplify right. And in this case, there's no ostrich housekeeping gene used, and therefore there's no evidence that those two PCR tests are even out of an actual ostrich.
Okay, so this is kind of blowing my mind a little bit here. So even though that they may have been able to find a fragment or a piece of it, there's still no proof that it actually went through the bird, caused the death of the bird.
Exactly.
Was even from the bird.
Yeah.
It could have just been from nature, picked up, because we know wild birds can carry it, and this is kind of how it moves around. And this is kind of what you're highlighting here. Like, there was very little or no evidence that the birds themselves died from avian flu, shedding avian flu, contagious with avian flu, or anything like that at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, and the downfall of the CFIA's and WHO stamping out policy is that CFIA is allowed legally to wipe out birds on your farm if they are suspected of having avian influenza. Not even evidence under a suspicion of avian influenza that they can wipe out your flock. Now,
I just want to add to that before you go to the next part.
Go for it.
Even potential exposure.
Potential
exposure.
Suspected infected birds on your farm. That's it.
Yeah.
Now, these birds are for research purposes only. As soon as those birds were sick, CFIA was informed, and their methods were followed, and we're informed we have sick birds. So it was a bit back and forth. And two, these birds are not food. They're research animals. That's it.
Yeah, and that was something that people put out there, like, oh, we got to keep this out of the food supply. No, 2022 is when they switched over to doing research. There was COVID vaccine research, vaccine, antibody research being done prior to that. And here's another question for you. Let's just presume, just for argument's sake, that they got the avian flu. Some of them died from avian flu. Let's just say that. December 2024. Sure. November 2025, and they're still running around dancing and alive. Can it be safely concluded that they're not sick and they're no longer with it?
Yep. Yes. If these birds were people like us, and as soon as their recovered symptoms gone, they're deemed healthy and no longer infectious. In those birds, it should have been deemed healthy birds within two months of not seeing any symptoms at all. Now, there's millions of ducks out there. In a chicken barn, there's thousands of chickens and avian influenza in those barns spread fast. In this herd, you've got 400 birds. You've got an old flock, which never even got sick. You've got new birds which did get sick and then recovered. And so if you wipe out a handful of birds on an isolated farm, and you've spent hundreds of thousands of bucks each day for a month to seize that farm, it's taxpayer funding completely wasted, and it does absolutely nothing to slow and stop the spread of avian influenza.
In fact, we'll take this a step further. Because they survived, and after 2 months they were still healthy, there's a good argument to be made that they probably developed some sort of antibody to it, and then you should study that. Because if you want to actually stop avian flu from destroying the poultry industry and going after animals in the food supply, one of the things you need to do is try and come up with ways to protect them. And there was research done. So I want to be very candid here. So in 2022, they switched over to do some COVID, and it's not vaccine, because a lot of people get this confused. They were not injecting the COVID vaccine. It was a COVID response that they had antibodies developed for and tested. This was a government-backed, $15 million backed grant with Immune Biosolutions out of Quebec. They were working with that lab, providing the eggs to them, and tests were being done and verified that they were developing COVID antibodies with the potential application of injecting or infusing this into masks, so that masks can become far more effective in capturing the free-flowing COVID-19 virus as before you inhale it. So this was meant to be a preventative measure. This research was being done. It's very well documented. It's very clear that this was happening in 2022, 2023, and so on. I'm wondering, because I'm just going to put a tinfoil hat on now. Some people say gain of function created COVID-19. Nicholas Holstrom came on and said gain of function created N5N1, which is avian flu. And I wonder if these birds developed immunity being exposed to the COVID virus, which was similar enough to the avian flu one, which they ended up having immunity to that as well. And from a research standpoint, shouldn't Shouldn't research be done on these birds, and why did they survive? If avian flu came through, let's again presume that that's true, and they were infected and they lived. Shouldn't the time be taken to research why this was done, and maybe potentially save millions of birds all over Canada from being culled as well in the future?
That would be an ideal thing, to see why all of these birds have formed a natural unity to avian influenza. The fact that it was and just goes to show that other things were at work to push an agenda.
To push an agenda, I think you're saying there.
Yeah, I had a thought and I lost it. Sorry.
Well, maybe we'll come back to you, because we're going to move over to our local side of
Yeah.
things now. I'm going to steal you for a little bit more time this morning,
Sure.
because this is a lot of things that we were concerned about. It's suspected that maybe these birds should have been continued for research. This is what the U.S. wanted to do with Robert Kennedy and Dr. Oz and others. And the irony is BC has launched a program, $2 million of funding, to go ahead and try and find a way to prevent avian flu from spreading on farms. And this could have been a solution.
Yeah.
And these birds could have been a solution.
Yeah. These birds could have, for sure. I've basically have said that killing this whole ostrich flock is equivalent to if a MP in the House gets sick and we cull the entire caucus.
9 months later too. So 9 months after he was sick, we're still doing it to the survivors. Yeah. Maybe someone should PCR avian flu test Carney. We'll see what that test result comes back.
It says a complete witch hunt.
Yeah. And there's some big question marks about who's behind this, why they're behind it. Even naturopathic options were there. So they were selling oils and other things that showed some sort of benefit to other animals like dogs. Whether or not the vax industry would appreciate a solution that would prevent COVID from affecting people, which would provide an alternative so that maybe the vax status isn't allowed anymore. Who knows? Who knows, really? At the end of the day, I guess we're not going to know. These birds are now called. It's been almost 2 weeks, and there's not much we can do about it at this stage. But hang on, Doctor, okay? Go ahead.
And so far in 2024, 2025, avian influenza has been known and is shown to have made one person sick in Canada so far, and that's it.
Yeah, and she actually showed up at the farm and said, "Save the birds."
Yeah, so
she's alive and well, and she's
all of this is being done on speculation and fear, and not actual science, Jason.
Yeah. there's something going on. So we're going to keep on this one.
Yeah.
So hang on, David, as we jump over to locals.
Yes. And so what I've done as well, you shared a couple of your Substacks posts. So everyone, if you look in your chats, you'll see the courageoustruth.davidspeicher.com. And there's a couple of posts that he has shared regarding Halloween is over, but CFIA is which. And then as well as one regarding to test or not to test. So I put that in the chat and you go ahead and check that out.
Thank you very much for sharing those, Dr. Speicher, and we'll be with you in just a moment. So hang on. All right, so a quick reminder, there will be no show tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So we have an appointment that coincides with the exact time for the show, so it can't be live in two places. I'm not going to clone me, so we'll stay away from that. One's enough, right?
Well, we have too many ones.
Two little ones, and they can't do the show yet. So tomorrow morning we will not be on, but we'll be back on Wednesday.
Yep.
And it's with Jason Christoph, I think it is.
Cool.
Yeah. So he is a gentleman who's doing a lot of research around the global mind control and PSYOP, including Universal Ostrich Farm, and maybe what's going on there too. How people were kind of pushed into believing that these were dangerous birds when they're not, and there's a whole bunch behind that.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully 30 minutes, we can fill it up with this information, but tune in for Wednesday with Jason Christoph, I think is pronounced.
Yep. But otherwise, everyone, thank you very much for joining us. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend, and let's see what's going on with the day ahead. Let's look out for that Danielle Smith press conference that should be coming out today.
Yeah, and then 4:30 Eastern, 2:30 p.m. Mountain, we're going to be covering the vote for the budget live with the executive director of the Canadian Taxpayer Association, Franco something. I can't say his last name, but you can look him up. He'll be joining us. It'll be Nico, myself, and also Kim Sims from Alberta branch of the Taxpayer Association. Have yourself a wonderful day.
Take care.
Paula told me to move on. Love you all. God bless. Having too much fun.